really feel that EHOME is rather strong. I feel this luck, if he has a good start, they've got to chrono him each and every time if they want to kill him. You know what I mean? That's got to be the setup. He's going to be able to dart pack roars, arrows he'll be dodging. Witch Doctor and Bounty on the lockdown themselves, doesn't give a damn about the track. So for Wings, I'm a little bit worried with regards to this, if he does get out of control this game.
Yeah, there is definitely that concern, but I do feel like the Bounty Hunter does create some opportunities where he can get a superior laning phase, and we have seen Morana capable of finding the arrows when necessary. Blink is that kind of player. Blink is definitely the kind of player that finds those narrow opportunities to get a good skill shot out with even the most minor of assistance, and I think that it's going to be EHOME that have to kind of counter roam and have to respond early on. I mean, you see some lineups that just get absolutely run over if they're constantly rotating, but I feel it's going to be the most important thing, and it's obviously a priority to land as well. Starting off with the TP scroll, I think this is one of the smartest things support Abaddon can do, is having a TP scroll from mid 1, so that you're able to jump to the lane that needs you most.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great saving potential at the early levels, this Abaddon. And it's indeed going to be interesting to see how he plays it. She's a bit of a break from himself on the hero, and a little bit of a break just in general from teams and players as a whole. Not a hero that we're seeing being picked up every day.
But definitely still potent. We're going to be seeing them make their move up towards the top rune here, securing her for Old Chicken. And I actually think that Old Chicken should be in a pretty confident spot this matchup. We talked about it before, so I won't get into the mechanics of leap and stuff like that. But I feel like they're going to have enough pressure a lane for a pretty significant CS for TP. And because around, at least always a TP away, I feel that Chicken can get pretty aggressive in this lane despite the boundary threat.
The Shadow, and Ice just gives them to the bear. Actually skilling the push level 1 with the magic, doing a significant amount of damage to the bear as well. So this bear is not going to be in good shape. They might kill it.
No, Bounty Hunter unfortunately cannot get too close to it, so it is going to be headed off, and he's essentially just going to get shielded and recalled.
Save the bear.
Yeah.
So he's just getting him out of there.
That's interesting. You resummon the bear and the Photic Shield's gone, despite it being a unique entity.
Well, that is weird.
Yeah.
That is.
Maybe it's not a unique entity. Maybe it's just kind of a health reset or something. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, I guess it's not really something that's going to do much in the game, but it's a weird interaction, yeah.
Never said. But this is going to be a very interesting laning phase from both sets here, because I feel like there's a lot of potential for Wings, but their job is to stymie that, to be able to respond where the Bounty Hunter gets aggressive, to just kind of make those of it. Like, I feel, obviously, we know Crystal Maiden can jump when they see the Bounty Hunter show mid or bottom, but for the most part, they're just going to try to play it back and kind of respond to aggression. We do see down bottom the Spear Bear, the second bear, already dropping down about 400 HP as a nice little bit of malediction right-click play comes through.
No, the bear might show up. They spit. Oh my goodness, look at this. They're going in. Targeted forward. Gonna do it.
And they get the 300 gold.
Will save. It's enough region. Oh my goodness.
First blood instead is going to be going out on the Beastmaster. So fortunate that the Lone Druid didn't go down. Of course, it did cost him a bear for another 38 seconds. And you can argue that the bound that faces Void just got is quite comparable at 300, but First Blood will still be spilled by EHOME here.
This Lone Druid's got to be careful. I mean, I guess this is just the thing. Witch Doctor is a pretty good laning support to deal with Lone Druid, thanks to what the cast, the bonus damage from a Maledict. You can easily kill that bear between the two.
Absolutely. But it's just a nice little deny here from Bounty to neutral, so we can get up right quick back to the lane and hopefully get level 2 soon. Orbital Venom is nice and all, but you really need to get that Janata out if you're going to be able to set arrows or really good kills on the CM, who is still kind of sticking to the lane for the moment.
Oh, coming down bottom again. Witch Doctor's got a haste. Let's see how much he's able to do against this Swiss one. Cast is not going to bounce, but the Maledict's down on Sword 11. And again, he just has to back. He's down to spot tanker.
Yep, pressure going to be here on Abaddon. I got this. It might be a glade. He's going to take much damage. Probably needs suicide. Landon gets with suicide with the miscoil. Very nicely done. In the meantime, up top, flanking. Looks like Faithbeyond's going to be alright. He's got the boar, and CM just really can't trade very well with that. She can frostbite it, she can knock it down that way, and even an eye. Very cheeky Faith. But yeah,
look at that, he's going to get punished for this old chicken. Innocence will find the return kill, but DP diving deep and diving hard to follow through the Mirana after, you know, during this kind of time where the leap is on cooldown that we talked about before in this mid matchup, where there is that vulnerability of the Mirana.
Yeah,
but losing a life and giving it the bounty, I mean, Innocence is going to be happy with that one.
Innocence is going to be happy, but of course, by comparison, the DP is going to be even happier because that is a bigger kill, getting the solo 1v1 in that situation. So EHOME shaping up to be in a pretty good spot this game overall. And yeah, as it stands, I just got to say that like both sides are kind of playing this as expected to an extent. Like I really except 11 is taking a lot of damage down here and it has done multiple times. This is getting a little bit tough for him because he hasn't gotten the Iron Talon yet.
They might kill the bear.
They love bringing that bear down.
Yeah, this bear is in. They've got a paralyzing cast. And the person is all the abandoned. Oh, he's not out. They're taken down bear again. Another 300 gold for wings. This has not been Lone Drew's dead. There's kind of a bit of a clowny moment as well, where they were going for the root, and Lone Drew's savage roars the Witch Doctor, which pushes the Witch Doctor further towards the root. I don't know, Lone Drew, I think he's been drinking some in Old 11.
Yeah, he's having a rough time of it for sure. He's just trying to get too involved in the lane, and just some good, consistent slows is plenty to actually bring the bear down. I think Witch Doctor is one of the better supports to address the Lone Druid early, just with the paralyzing casket at least. But one thing I do want to point out is how effective it is to actually just focus Abba before level 6. He's actually one of the squishier heroes in the game, only 1 armor right now, and obviously you can't dispel disables on yourself. You can't take stuns off with your robotic shield while you're stunned. Okay, that was close. But a regen rune, going from 1 to full is very unfortunate for Old Chicken there.
My goodness. Still kicking off at the moment in these first 5 minutes of the game. CS 31 for 13 on the Slark, 31 for 9 Void. The mid lane matchup relatively close. It's a bit of a slight edge for the DP, but not a lot. And a wrap around top, Innocence. They're looking to set up, see if you'll find an opening. Okay, will start to salve up, and they will start moving. They're looking for the CM, but Eyesight's ready to turn around and fight back. They'll lose CM, but Eyesight finds what he might even find himself. Can he close this gap? Yes, he can. 2 kills in return for losing a CM. Eyesight dies, so thank you very much for that on his slot.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of making the move that's like the Frostbite is used because it, you know, Chris Bane's been playing methodically, consistently, and as soon as he sees the board, he's going to hit that Frostbite, but at the same time, the Slark's just there, he's present, he's involved, and it's not going to be an easy kill. So they get it just barely bursting him down before Fairy Fire, but all the same, they lose way too much in the process.
They want to try and punish Old 11 again, but Old 11's got friends. Yeah. Old Manham's here, and Eyesight is a very good move for the Witch Doctor. It's no hard to punish this time. No bullet for the Lone Druid.
I think it's the right response to a Lone Druid, because if you just let him free farm like Midas and etc., it just feels like your Tri-4 is always going to be superior to your own. But in this case, yeah, they pushed it one step too far, and the Witch Doctor dove too deep. In the meantime, yeah, that absolutely should not have happened. He didn't even have a TP off cooldown. Yeah,
that was a bit of an awkward
I think what he forgot about was the Slark's night vision. I think he just thought, okay, I can just slip in and buy something for the side shop, and I was like, yeah, I see you, I'm the Nightcrawler.
Yeah, and this Slark got 2-0-2 in lane, 7 minutes in. He is having an absolute ball of a time, and as I said, this was what I was kind of worried in the draft. If this Slark gets out of hand, it's going to be a little bit tricky for Wings to deal with. They need to pretty much have the Chrono set up in the fight. Otherwise, they might not even kill it.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, right now, they've been holding onto this first Chrono for a very long time here. Shadow thought he had an opportunity with the Witch Doctor flank, and now it just doesn't seem like they've set up for anything. So it's going to be a very gradual build up here. And even more so because we're going to be seeing that Ring of Health pick up. Technically, there is value in just a casual Ring of Health, but he could just as likely be going for the full Vanguard. And yes, it stacks additively with the Poor Man's Shield. Or, well, not exactly, but it still is a good pickup.
Smoke up from EHOME. Old Chicken and Femre ready to make the rotations. Let's see what they do with this one. Be heading towards top, maybe trying to find a kill, turning into a bit for the Exorcism. Only Innocence to hang around here at the moment. With Femre got the detection, he does have a sentry. We'll see if he pops it. The smoke will be taken off, and they get the initial slow. There's the pounce and a beautiful play. EHOME find the kill. And now we'll see how much they want to commit this into a push. If they do want to pop the Ghost, they probably won't need to do it in fact for the tier 1. Creep wave's coming around, and the tower's already sitting in less than a third health, so just the 3 of them might be able to punch it down with the right clicks.
Yeah, just clear the creep wave. They know that right now the bounty hunter doesn't have his 6, so he's not going to be. There's no incentive for Wings to make like a 4-man rotation top. Where if Track was online, yeah, you might use your first chrono of the game to defend that tower. In this case, things are too spread out, and it's actually going to be a roar going down on the mid lane to bring Lanham down again. The most vulnerable target for EHOME.
So, and Innocence has come back in. Camera hasn't got any more detection. Innocence just playing around with this. That's of course level 6, so lays down the tracks. No one else to TP up to join the forces. I'm curious if Shadow will. This could be a really good opportunity. They do go for the TP here on the Mirana, but they don't have a lift. It's going to just be an all-out fight with the system involved. They'll lose the CM, but yeah, the Nexus is going to put them off chasing. Okay, they've got a chrono. Shadow's in, the arrow to follow through. Old Chicken being kept alive though by Old Lanham, and he's ready to go back in. Can they kill this 7-something? Yes, they can. Blink jumps in, takes him down, finds a double kill on the Mirana, and Old Lanham still hanging around as he knows that Wings are low. But yeah, nice play and really nice reaction there from the side of Wings, coming straight into the fight off the back of that tier 1 loss. Close call. It could have been a lot dicier if the second miscoil had come out a little bit sooner, but nevertheless, great patience and then execution from Wings. They really just baited the DP into that position where obviously he wants the tier 1 tower and he wants it for free, but essentially the communication from EHOME was that if there's any TPs, pop exorcism and we'll fight it. Well, that's all well and good, but with that much against you, play. Ice just grabbing a freebie there in the jungle with the faster level 6, the superior support. Support versus support action there. Very nice one. Look at the Shadow, so he's got the perseverance. I mean, it's not the Battle Fury Void, is it, Blaze? I mean, I guess it must be. You wouldn't build a Link in this game, surely? I think it's. I mean, if we go back in time, like 3 or more years, that used to be the staple. It really did. It really was so long ago. I barely even remember it myself, but that was actually like as core on Void as it was on Anti-Mage. But yeah, all the same, I think you're absolutely right. I think it has to be. Like, I want to say something else, but no, this is going full carry mode for the face of Void. It really, I mean, maybe if it was like an off lane Void or something like that, maybe it's an early Lotus Orb, but if it's your carry, it's going to be the Battle Fury. And it's going to be some aggression coming out from Ice as well. He's like, get out of my lane. This is not your safe lane, it is mine. I'm the carry here. Is there any chance it's going to be casual perseverance just for his other items and then the anti builds into a refresher later on? I mean, that seems way too forward thinking. No, this is Battle Fury, man. Okay. This is absolutely it. Alright, let's do it. So it just changes the tempo of the game and my expectations here. They're going to really, I mean, they'll take picks where they can. They have really short cooldowns, the Primal Roar as well as the Death Ward, but overall, Wings' game plan relies a lot more in their mid game. Look at this straight away. I mean, you got to be careful if you're in a lane against this Void. As soon as you know there's a +1, just like the Witch Doctor, so that can happen anytime. Smoke too is a really good way to get in that position. This is obviously it's tier 1, so most of the time it's pretty inconvenient for a support to go out there, but they make it work, and then also Innocence caught out by the smoke itself. Absolutely. Straight away reactions from the sentries, the smoke gets dispelled. And again, they're ready to push. They have Ghost if necessary, but already the side of Wings backing away, not wanting to hold fort down bottom. They're looking to take down the mid tier 1 and the top tier 1, so unable to defend, but trying to find the trades here at the moment. In fact, Old Chicken's actually come alone to the mid lane, also TPs towards the top, so EHOME, they're going to try and hold both, but indeed, already Old Chicken caught out, taken down. So a bit of a misplay from the Death Prophet. They're quick to punish. Top lane though, EHOME. Ice, seeing if you can catch that shot, but it's not going to be the case. So they'll hold on to the tier 1 top. They will hold on to the tier 1 middle, but they give away a free Death Prophet kill. Yeah, I didn't actually catch that one, but I do believe that it was just a miscommunication timing for Lanham, whether or not he was able to make this enough to save him. Obviously, again, Abba is very capable of turning bad fights into your favor, but it's all about positioning and timing, and if you can be close enough. That's why items like Blink Dagger and Aether Lens are surprisingly effective on this hero. We're actually going to be seeing the pressure come out on Old 11 once again, but it does look like, despite their best efforts, they're not going to be able to punish him further.
Slug does have a Shadow Blade up. He got to show that off, bringing on the Witch Doctor up on the top lane. And I expect him to get some really consistent kills over the next few minutes.
Yeah, there's certainly some good targets for him to go to this game. I mean, both what the Mirana and the Witch Doctor speak on as easy. I mean, maybe even the Beastmaster, you know, if there is a +1 about, but there's certainly the potential to find the picks with the Shadow Blade. Even with, you know, the fact that it is purely just the Shadow Blade trying to keep the stage. We pick up Mirana, and ooh, good reaction from They've got the sentry down, so immediate retreat from the Mirana, meaning that the pounce won't connect. And it'll just be the pure exorcism push onto the mid lane from EHOME. Wings not really in a position to stop it, Innocence is Blink just hanging around behind the tower, and when the next comes in, they should be able to finish it off already. Again, Ice, maybe thinking about coming in from behind, but lots of sentries down on Wings, so it is hard for Ice to find the opening. He knows that they see him.
Dire's top tower is under
Maybe waiting until they take the tower. In fact, no, he's moving in, jumps straight in onto the Beastmaster, turns his attention towards the Mirana, but the leaf out there, the rest of the EHOME starts to move forward. They get the stealth to Innocence, paralyzing cuts for Witch Doctor in return. Wings, they're trying to hold them back, wrong to Mana, but immediately taken off with his gold for Ice with the Death Ward, who is just constantly about healing him up. They've got to try and get everyone out though, because Ice is low on the mana front as he does retreat. And of course, they losing the Death Prophet, but finding the tier 1. So this Death Prophet's dying quite a few times in this earlier stage of the game.
And as much as I love the man, I gotta pin that on Lanham. Like every single time, it's the DP is relying extremely heavily on the Abba to keep him up, and it's not happening. There's so many spells are like mid animation trying to save the DP, and it's just a moment too short. It's got to be the reaction time. It's got to be Abba ready to go. It's not like he's stunned. And Lanham is not disabled. He's not silenced. He is fully capable of this, but he's just slightly out of position. Couldn't get to him immediately, and DP goes down again. And it's these critical timings. Like it's kind of like you think of every spell like a last second Shallow Grave. Like you have to in order to turn fights properly with Abaddon Death Prophet, you really have to wait to the last possible second, so that they actually are in a compromised position, and you just get that extra boost of effect HP. But so far, Wings have just had a little bit more burst than they're prepared to deal with, and the reaction time isn't there from Lanham.
It really isn't. I mean, as obviously in this important game, they need to have step up. As overall, the net worth difference going in the favour of Wings out of that last engagement. And top lane, Shadow. Indeed, on top of the Battle Fury. That's going to be where it's going to be interesting to see what he goes for next. Does he still go back for kind of the Manta Diffusal? I see even more kind of return to the past with something like a Mask of Madness, or what's the plan for the boy?
Yeah, I still favor Manta Diffusal pretty heavily in this situation. Sorry, missing the Witch Doctor getting punched on by the Slurk under the Sentry Ward, and Melodic though looks like it's going to be Blink to be able to bring Ice down. He gets aggressive, finds a big kill, but there are a lot of Sentry Wards that Wings are dropping to try to either prevent this from happening or at least respond to it.
Yeah, it's just a good read Blink there, realising his key out would be coming from the tree line and hitting a fantastic cap.
Yep, so I still like trying to be very aggressive here. He's playing a style that we rarely from this tournament. Again, he's been playing almost nothing but the Nog Siren Terror Blade, which is much slower tempo, which is much more about building your gradually spreading. That's where he's comfortable. Going in this, you really have to be outmaneuvering your opponent, and you can't be trading evenly. Right now, 5-2 and 2, it's not bad, but he was definitely expecting more at this stage in the game.
Let's see what the game plan is from EHOME, grouping up around the secret shot. No smokes. Looks like they're happy playing the farm game, trying to get as much as they can on Lone Druid, which has been a bit of a slow start, but we'll see how much he can continue to grow as, 17 minutes in, you know, he did recover very nicely that early laning stage where he was struggling with the bear. Relic, Midas.
Love these smoke plays. This is just picture perfect, clear cut. They get the Hawk bit and they get the kill, and it's going to be going to the Beastmaster again. Just so much continuous pressure on this jungle on this Lone Druid, and he's going to be bearless for 50 seconds.
Yeah, and this is just the time to do, you know, when he's just managed to regain that momentum at this stage of the game, but he's still yet to finish off that Radiance recipe. So as many times as they can shut him down now at this point, it's going to be all the better for Wings. Because indeed, when that Lone Druid does have the Radiance complete, it is going to be an issue for Wings in these team fights.
Alright, we are going to be looking at Old Chicken getting pinged out for the most part here. It seems like he's the next target in mind. Let's see if Link can redeem himself a little bit. They're going to go for what they think is a 3v1 play on Old Chicken. and at that point, maybe Lanham will be in position and ready to deal with it, though that Blink Chrono is hard to position against.
Battle Fury into Blink. This is... yeah.
I think he still wants to bring that utility. Like, obviously they got damage. Marana is about to pick up the Aghanim Scepter. She's going to have massive damage to bring the team fights, and she's also going to be farming pretty quickly. That's kind of the nice bits of both the Aghanims on Marana and the Battle Fury of the Void is you're getting some fight damage, and you still can farm out camps so very quickly and actually force EHOME to start pressuring you harder, because to an extent their lineup is full death ball. The Slurk is pretty much the exception to that.
Bottom man still kind of teasing around with the team here. Essence hanging around, keeping the vision. Actually going to be the rest of the team leaving it out. So Innocence won't be sticking around setting anything up. But the Aghanim is done on Marana. Shadow is cleaning up the Ancients. But it certainly seems like both teams are not in a rush with this one. They're quite happy.
Whoa, Innocence making a huge misstep there. Sees them dewarding Ascension Ward and walks further into it. I don't know if it's a misclick or just a really bad read of the situation, but he gets dusted and he gets dropped. And Axis is looking for the rush. Yeah, they're perfectly willing to commit that, and there's not even a tier 2 to trade. Like, usually you'll see this kind of a cooldown committed, and you'll get the Roshan, but they'll get like 8 towers.
They know they are going to head over that. Can they? I mean, you know what? Chrono definitely can give it a good shot. They certainly can. They've got to be quick. They've got to be quick. They've got to be hasty. Arrow to lead in. Will catch out the bear. They know it's slow. Jumping in with the Chrono on the ball. There's the paralyzed. Can't the balance. They're on the skyline. But they cancel the death. What a easy with the frostbite. But they hold on to the lone druid. Ice being focused by Ice. Looking for more. Trying to go for Blink. But look at the paladins on them. They're bouncing down low. Lanham did manage to pick up the Aegis. He's going to be back for rescue. The arrow flies through. Is not going to catch on 30, but Woodlands just running in, hitting down onto the heroes of EHOME, find themselves off, and now they're jumping in for more. They're looking for Lanham. They're going to be able to get him as well. It's a team one, and Wings get an incredible fight around the pit.
Absolutely outstanding. And yes, the Roshan, the Aegis got claimed by Lanham there. Nice, but the hack Chronosphere just absolutely perfect. It's just so difficult to keep your team alive in this situation. Another big issue was the Slark was pretty low on mana when this all began, so he didn't have enough for his second round of spells, so could only contribute so much at that point. And also, just to be honest, Ice is underfarmed for his current expectations. Like, at this point, he had a BKB. Maybe that could have been a little bit more favorable for them, but they ate a lot of damage very early in that, and although the Frostbite was impeccable to cancel out the Death Ward, it just wasn't enough, and they do end up losing fight overall.
Absolutely, just after Madden seeing a good swing, yeah. Oh, 7.5k, very comfortable movement in the net difference, favouring the side of Wings, thanks to that last engagement. And of course, a lot of it down to the fact, yeah, you get a few track kills, it's all juicy. Yeah, so this is now hitting onto level 11. And Shadow, I mean, I guess for the Ogre Club, he's going for the BKB, it's just to ensure that he can get those Chronos out. Talking about Core's getting PKBs though, on the other side, Ice has got his own onto Slark. And I mean, even though he went down, he was able to pick up two of the weaker backliners. See what he goes for here. Unless he's been spotted out, to look for a bit of a movement round. There has got the Chronosphere back up and available, as well as the Death Ward from the Witch Doctor. If he gets himself in the neighbourhood, and indeed they've got the full 5-man here, Wings. Ice has even got himself an Invis rune, so could get the vision to set up something big for the team fight. But at the same time though, Old 11 has Radiance now complete on Lone Druid. So this is something that they were missing in the last fight, and something that can definitely turn it around. And they themselves, EHOME, they're going for a smoke. They want to do something with this reveal.
Yeah, and I'm kind of interested to see what they can accomplish with this, because it definitely isn't the normal timing, considering Wings did just take a massive fight and they've got all their ultimates back off cooldown. But if you get the right initiation, if you're able to Dark Pact off the right spells, and you get, of course, the Radiance damage throughout.
It's got a bunch of the Chrono here. If they can get a Chrono onto this. Shadow, yeah, he's done it, he's caught out 3, where's the follow through here? It comes, Ice lays down the Death with the silence onto the point, beautiful for the Death Prophet, and EHOME, they may have lost the Slark, but they could look to move in for more. They're trying to go forward, but at the same time, Wings, they don't look to be too scared. With the Voodoo Restoration, they're sustaining themselves through this fight. The tracks are out, they chase down there, the paralyzing card, bouncing between EHOME, Blink jumps in on the backlines, with the stumble, takes down a second, but it's still the death of his trying to turn, but he can't. The back through Shadow, they'll lose themselves a third. Wings again taking a 3-for-2 trade as Fenrir and on 11 heading back to base. Well, the Blink diving the near pause to finish off the lone druid. Going for a D-scout, he's got to cancel it because Fenrir's on his Ken. Shadow comes in with a time walk, first hit bash. They're looking again to get themselves another team wipe, bringing EHOME to the ground. For the style points, triple kill for the Marauder. My goodness, Wings are laying out of their exit.
Absolutely impeccable play from them there, and it was just really effective for them to be able to pursue over the top of the tier tower. First, the chrono was absolutely incredible, even though the once again the death ward does get silenced. But
oh, I know, easy kill.
Oh, yep. Stick around that long. You're gonna play it.
1,200 gold. Ice just hit the jackpot there, and he may even find himself another. Jumps across the tree, and he will. This is...
You play in my base? You're going to cancel TPs in my base? I don't think so.
Bit of a windfall there for Ice.
Yeah,
lots of money going his way.
Absolutely. That's a massive influx of income for him, and it's sorely needed here because obviously they just took a pounding in that engagement. Really good movement from Wings. They had the best response that they could in that situation, and they were on top of them. I really love the Mirage movement in that fight. Like, just absolutely impeccable, jumping from target to target, mobile with the leap and the blink, and just absolutely on point. They really responded that well. I mean, again, EHOME went for a bit of an awkward smoke timing, but it is definitely what the response that Wings needed. They want to keep momentum up. They have the Necro 3. I was going to point out that the Necro actually got killed off by the Exorcism, and TP lost like half her health. Like, it was a huge chunk of pure damage that really built momentum for Wings in that fight. So that's something that is only partially under your control.
You have to be very, very careful about what their next bit of game plan is. They do still have this lone druid farming away, but falling behind. Void sailing ahead at the top of this graph, and what a build it's actually ended up being. It's but at the end of the day, I don't know if it's necessarily the item. It really just is the awareness of Shadow and the positioning of these chronospheres. It's just the fact that he lands them every time. And even if the combo's not there, you know, we're seeing each and every time Ice slows down the death ward, it does get cancelled. But it's not even the end of the world, and even though it's just level 1 Voodoo Restoration, that in itself, as we saw just then, just seems to be enough to kind of keep the momentum going for Wings and allowing them to feel the strength to go back into these fights and just allow for these incredible YOLO plays on the Mirana.
Yeah, and even just the Maledict itself has done a lot of work this game, multiple times bringing down the Lone Druid or the Bear, and just across the board creating problems for EHOME. I really feel like EHOME are now sweating it. I mean, they are going to be able to build up the Scotty soon on the Slark. The Radiance is going to be trying to push out lanes and trying to build the next big item for Old 11, which probably has something to do with like an Assault Cross. But yeah, in general, it's just so much damage going out from Wings in this particular timing window. As the game goes on, it'll stagnate. There's a lot of magical and spell-based damage that isn't going to go the distance, but right now, here in the mid lane, this is where Wings are just so strong.
Smokes on Raw, touches on the CM, immediately Ice responds, they'll get the chrono out, onto 11 on the sideline, they're taking out the Crimson Medic, going to get more arrow for the proof, onto 11, but it's removing the stun, Old starts to back up, Link to the jump spin, Link with the burst, some of it as well there, there's more pounding and dice, BKB is not going to save you again, Wings, team wiping EHOME, triple kill the Shadow, 3 team wipes within what seems like the last 10 minutes. This is just insane team play and coordination on the side of Wings. They're outplaying EHOME each and every time.
Absolutely. Their initiation, their target priority, just jumping through the back line. They've already got really good vision, and they're taking advantage of that in full. They're just able to move right in on exactly the target they want, and it just Lanham has too many heroes he's trying to save. He's stretched between the Crystal Maiden who got roared and the Lone Druid who just got arrowed. There's just too much on his lane, and there's too much going against EHOME now as Wings push in and take down Ticket 3, take down the melee racks, take the first step toward punching their ticket to the International.
Absolutely. Well, this must be incredible for the side. Just getting this momentum. I can imagine they're cheering. They're going for it now, Wings. They know that they're closing in on us. As you said, all of them. They need it. They're going to come back in for it. There we have it. He does. Ice gives his life for the cause. So they the 2 melee racks down on EHOME's side of the map. Wings really in the position of power at this stage, as we can see on the net worth, it's just spiraling out of control. up and above beyond 20,000 net worth lead for the side, and continuous big item pickups coming out from Wings. Now they've got an AZ ready for the next push. You can see with the hood and the headdress, you know, pipe is being prepared by the bounty hunter. Everything kind of coming together for the side, and EHOME, they've got to be prepared to put in the slap to bring this one back round.
Yeah, and with the chrono right back up, it could just be as simple as a blink play here. As Clark makes the jump forward, if they are able to get in range for that chrono spirit, will be lights out for that Clark already getting hit, but he laid top of the BKB, and instead of engaging, Blink will be able to Moonlight Shadow away with no rebuttal. They're going to try to wait for this BKB, and they're going to get the chrono spirit onto eyesight.
There we have it, eyesight to size. Can he get himself out? Shadowdog will be there in time. So nice play as well for the Lone with his Savage Roar to hold them back. Meanwhile, in the trees, there's a Beast Master hanging around here, and Eyesight wants to kill him. Jumps to the issue, the next one goes far out, they'll try and turn. The Roar coming down onto Eyesight's side. Can they keep him alive? They can. They'll take down Beast Master. They're stopping the Ultimate, moving in, looking to punish the Mirana, who leaps away. Blink's going to survive for the time being. They're trying to back out, and this could maybe be a bit of an overstep from Wings. They'll keep Blink alive. Innocence playing around, getting the tracks out, but look at this faces, boys. Just running around and flashing away. May now be in trouble as the silence comes out. The arrow falls back to the Lone Trip. Each of Blink again. These starbles on top of the paladin. 15 EHOME to the spread. 3 down. They've only ended up losing the Beastmaster, and Wings, they're looking for a fall. They're ready to chase. The time dilation's done now. The GG is called. Wings secure their place at TI6 in absolute fashion. I think everyone is going to be happy to see them in the main event.
Absolutely incredible, considering their performance in the Manila Major and a bit of a shaky start throughout the lower brackets for them. Now transitioning back to the team that we expected them to be. Really, the total question mark of Wings from the beginning of this qualifier was, were they going to be the team that we saw prior to the Manila Major or after it? And they're back in form. They are just sawing over their opponents, leaping all over and finding some incredible way to execute the fight. That was just great. I really liked what EHOME tried to strap, but it just wasn't the drafts that they've been running for the rest of the pre-tournament, and that comes down to the first phase bans. Yeah. It sucks that this only went to a best of one as a tiebreak.